Me again. I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the sections on our All About You wheel, the intellectual stimulation. I mean, there's so many ways that you can do this, like at work, right? You can do cross collaborative things. You can, um, excuse me, explore technology innovations, executive education, uh, keeping up with thought leaders that you hold in high regard. Um, and then on a personal level, you can read, you can engage in thought-provoking activities or, um, excuse me, oh my heavens, attend lectures and seminars and travel and explore the world, um, new hobbies, all these different ways um, to kind of bring that into your life. And as I was thinking about this, it hit me that when I grew up, my dad always had these brain teaser puzzles around, where you've got this long loop with a handle and there's two rings on it, but you have to separate them. And like, how the heck do you do that? So I've always had that kind of thing um, in my life. And I recognize that, we moved all the time. Dad worked for IBM. We called it I've been moved. I'm really gifted spatially related. Like I can tell you what's going to fit in that size moving van and what won't. um, right. So I was always stimulated in this way and really, really enjoyed it. And I thought about it. I learned how to make jewelry. So I started working in every different modality that I could, just experimenting, playing, seeing which ones really I gravitated towards. But like, what's the difference between creating your own links and doing from a skill perspective, from a thought perspective, a forward thinking perspective, silk knotting a necklace or beading and using really tiny little beads, um, all calling for different parts of me to be aware and popping and together or alive in that regard. And it's probably what drew me to theater years ago because I was always learning what made different characters tick. Like, I wonder what it is that gets this person triggered by that one, but that one can say the same thing and this one won't. And yes, I was the kid that made my mother crazy. But why, mommy? Why? Why, mommy? Where'd it come from, mommy? How come we can't do this, mommy? And and that's how I approach life today. And it's part of what makes me good at what I do is that big, huge vat of curiosity and interest to look beyond or underneath what's going on so I can really get to the core of what needs to be changed because it's not going to change up here, but it will down there. Or, so what is it about wire wrapping jewelry that I'm so drawn to? Um, I don't know. So I like challenging myself in that way. And as I've aged, doing so without judgment. You're going to give it a go. It's going to work or it won't. Or it's something that you build up to. I always think of putting on the mindset of an elite athlete. They don't go out there and race a pole jump and the first time they do it, go, yeah, nailed that puppy. And if they did, obviously it needs to go higher. But most of the times they'll knock the pole off. They'll knock the pole off. And they're doing each time going, what part of my body, what is it I have to do to be able to clear that pole? Well, imagine if we gave ourselves that same amount of grace. So, what stimulates you? Really, I mean, it can be anything. It can be cooking, right? It could be crunching numbers on a spreadsheet. I always bow down to those people and say thank you because that's not where I would choose to spend my time, even though I have, uh, you know, it's life. But really, where is your place of curiosity? Where is your place of desire to go? I'd like to know more about that. I mean, now that everybody, or most everybody, has smartphones, and I was with a group of women. We were at an event in DC, and somebody would say something, and they're like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! But where did that come from originally? Huh? Or did you know that that plus this can create?" I mean, just the insatiable curiosity. But it wasn't just enough to go, "Oh, those two connect." They would all bring up their phones and why? How does that connect? Where did that originate from? How could that, if we combine, I mean, it was really cool to see. So, what do you do that with naturally? Probably you don't even think about it, but become aware and then you can be much more intentional about how you move forward with that in your life or how you inspire others to do the same, to go beyond the what's right in front of them, or, oh, that's the saying we say. Okay, whatever it is, be curious and be committed to always growing, always growing. You know, when I was in corporate, there was a producer that was working for me that was probably 66, 67. And there's another producer that was in his late 30s. And what was so interesting was the 67 or 68-year-old had the funkiest haircut, was just really up on current trends, was always trying new technology and coming about. So she was remaining relevant. Where the person who was in their late 30s, yeah, not so much. They were doing what's already been done. So it didn't have anything to do with age. It had to do with the way they approached their lives and their work. So, anyway, with that said, I wish you much joyful intellectual stimulation and reap all the rewards that that has to offer.